Patterson, and with me today we have Mark Gai. It is Friday the 13th. Oh my, Friday the 13th, and another edition of The Art of Encouragement. So glad to be here with you today. We also have Greg, who's just hopped on and is connecting now to join us. As we're gathering today, I just want to let everybody know how much I appreciate them sending me good wishes this week. I've had a few more health issues, and thank you guys so much for always being there for me. Um, it is wonderful to enjoy such camaraderie and friendship with Greg and with Mark. Now, Greg has already been through it today. He didn't know if he would make it here with us, but he is. He's here and he's joining us today. He's already been to, is that an urgent care, I believe, or some sort of medical appointment? And we're so glad that he was able to join us. And Greg, what's going on today?
Hello.
Hi, Mark. I'm not hearing you, Greg. I was just checking my settings. Hello, Mark. How are you? How are you feeling?
Doing well. I'm still not 100%. This has been a challenging week for me. Started last week. I had to miss the broadcast, which I almost never do. But yeah, it was tough.
Yeah, well, we're glad you're here. It was awesome having John Street here with us last week. He definitely brought us encouragement, and it's as we intersect with people from all over the world with from all walks of life, it is awesome to see how encouragement is such a uniting force. And today, as we meet together, I want to encourage you, Mark. Oh, there you are. Look, you're looking dapper. I thought you weren't feeling well and might not be on the broadcast. There he is. He's live. He's in person. He's the one, the only Mark Gai, TEDx speaker, TEDx coach, business extraordinaire. Yeah. Isn't it important
Thank
to
you.
affirm our friends? Greg,
It is. Yeah.
yeah. Go ahead, Mark. Tell us a little bit more about what you've had going on.
I think I had this disease that we shall not speak of. The one that has been happening the last several years on the planet Earth, and I think I got it. So every couple years I get this thing, and it's tough. It's tough. It's just been challenging. Um, you know, but I'm getting better. I'm happy to be with friends, just hoping for strength and hoping for grace. This is a time when I spend a lot of time just recovering and thinking about, my legacy, my grace. It's time to slow down. So even though I'm feeling under the weather, it was productive time to think about, my life.
What is your legacy?
Who knows? Who knows, Nick? I think it's maybe maybe it's in I have a friend, I think I mentioned her, Beverly. She
Mhm.
said, "We leave our fingerprints in the lives of everyone we meet." So what are those fingerprints? Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not so good, but hopefully it's more positive.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I've thought so much about legacy recently as well. I don't know if you and I have actually talked about that or not. Have we been talking about legacy?
No,
But
probably not.
yeah, legacy is so important. Legacy is, I think it's the sum. It's also a little bit of magic if you've got a good legacy, but where there's that perpetual energy that keeps people inspired and going, even though we're not around, we may not even still be alive, but the legacy continues because we have impacted people, like you say, through different touch points along our journey. And if we're leaving good legacies, then we're leaving fingerprints that kind of guide the way. And
Mm.
and that's what I hope we can all do. Now
Yeah.
today is Friday the 13th. I didn't know if you guys would be joining today, so I thought we might talk a little bit about superstitions and how they can impact us from moving forward. In rural Alabama, where I grew up, superstitions were part of everyday life. I'll tell you, I grew up, my grandmother, Mama, she would say, well, I'm not superstitious, but she was, she really was. And, you could not, on, let's see, to begin our year on New Year's Day, what can you do and what can you not do?
Well, there's a lot of superstitions along from across the world. I think some of them are useful and some of them are not useful because it's a luck of the draw. I am very I like the programming of the mind, and I'm I would like to pass forward the positive encouragement. For example, when I see something or someone doing their best, I see, oh, your cup is gonna overflow with abundance. Look at things you're doing. And I know that those words stick with people. I also have worked with some people who don't take superstitions seriously. And they think, well, there's no place for them in my life. And I say, okay, fine. I'm not going to argue either way. But I think there's a lot of unhelpful superstitions that are not helpful at all. So I don't know how to navigate it because my life is about superstitions too, where I travel. So you have to be very careful what you
Absolutely.
believe.
Absolutely. And as we explore superstitions, psychologists, they believe that, one's belief in good luck, you're talking about good superstitions, and belief that it's a personal trait could play a crucial role in gambling behavior, lead gamblers to have irrational anticipation to win and overgeneralize their subjective sense of control. Um, and and that's where I think superstitions go to is our sense of control. It's like we have a little peek in, we have a life hack, as it were, to that motivates us either to do something or not to do something.
Mhm.
And our involvement, whether we say, yes, I'm going to subscribe to this cultural phenomenon, um, people will really believe that it affects, and it perhaps it does. I'm not saying it does either way, hear that. But
Mm,
I know that people really believe in them and they lean on them sometimes.
mm.
I may or may not have one myself. I
It's so revealing, and um it's so curious that you said about the gambling superstitions, because I believe that the superstition I know about gambling is losing. No matter what you do, it's losing. And I don't want to be the dark cloud over this, but okay, I'm gonna be honest. I gambled back in the day. I gambled, and and it was part of my addiction for some time. And I know I had to stoop so low to recognize that there's no winning. There's no winning. There's no way you can dictate chance to win. You cannot. It did not work for me. So if you don't, some of us have to, like pee on the electric fence and find out for themselves, see if it works. So go ahead, try it. But I think the only superstition with gambling is the losing one, and that's my opinion. I don't wish to spread beyond me, but no, that's it. It's the one that is losing.
not the itchy palm. You're not feeling the itchy palm there. No, but
Well,
thank you for
the
revealing
only
your.
one is it's gonna make you borrow against money you don't have, to play games you cannot win, to impress people you don't like. What's the point?
Yeah. So if our palms itching, or we find that lucky rabbit tail, it's important for us to realize, you know, like Mark says, and thank you so much, Mark, for being vulnerable with us today, for sharing that part of your life, because gambling and other things we can justify, we can bring it in because, well, I got this feeling, and if this lines up, you've got to do it. And when we put ourselves in those mindsets, we have to evaluate from time to time, is this healthy? Is this superstition healthy? I've got to wash clothes because I want to be at work tomorrow because I want the new year to keep going forward well. But I can't wash clothes on New Year's. I, I can't wear white shoes after Labor Day. Those types of things. They're part of that's part of our American culture here. And Mark, I would love to know more about what they do around the world. But at the end of the day, superstition it's what you make of it. It has the control you choose to give it. And we encourage you today to make good use of that control. Know that the power's in your hands, and it's up to you to give it the momentum or not. And Greg is with us today. He's cheering us on. I'm not sure if we can hear him or not still. Nope, we can't hear him, but we see you and we appreciate you. Mark, this last week I wanted to share with you. I was selected to be a TEDx coach with TEDx Eustis, and I'm so excited to be working with, I'm not going to go into names of that sort of thing, but with a new person who has her idea worth sharing. And this is something she's worked toward. And I've encountered others recently that are looking forward to giving their first TEDx talk as well. And it's amazing how much your legacy has impacted how I am engaging in my conversations with her. And I find myself referring to you all the time. Your words, they continue. And as our words continue, as our thoughts continue, it's amazing that 2 years later, those seeds you planted are still growing. Things I did not understand you were teaching me then, I'm realizing now the crop's finally growing. And although there's nothing superstitious about that, I wanted to pivot our conversation just a little bit so that we could enjoy those, that particular line of thinking. Oh, we lost Mark, and now we've lost Greg. I think that I'm not superstitious or anything, but it is Friday the 13th. Things are not working well. That we were talking about superstitions, but again, we have control. Do we keep going when it's like we're getting these signs, or do we stop? And do we allow that control to be given? I don't think we're supposed to do that. And what we're typically afraid of is the unknown. If you're wanting to give a TEDx talk, there's a fear because of the unknown. If you want to get a new job, often we're hesitant to do that because of the unknown. We alienate ourselves from friendships and relationships that can be so valuable to us because of the unknown. We have to choose control. And when I say control, I mean how much we let go. And you've heard the term, and how much we let God. When we are who we're supposed to be, control isn't as big of an issue. The important thing for us to do as we're walking on our journey, whether it's in encouraging others or at times encouraging ourselves, it's imperative for us to realize that control is at the heart of every decision. Are we willing to subject ourselves to a leader? How does that feel to us, especially if you've owned your own business and you've had one way of thinking and one way of living? It's easy for us to not want to go back to where we put ourselves under that authority that comes with leadership. Another thing with unknown is moving. Have you ever moved? I tried to count one time how many times in my life I've moved, from a child all the way up into adulthood, and I lost count. It's been so many different homes, many journeys, and you know, I find myself now not wanting to move. I like things the way they are, and as I've been considering a move recently, it is I've lost everyone now. Um, it's just one of those things where I realize I like where I am, but if I need to move, I will. And that's me maintaining control, but also giving myself grace and realizing that my decision today may not be my decision tomorrow. And yeah. So guys, it is September 13th, Friday the 13th. I'm Nick Patterson, and this is the Art of Encouragement. If you're out and about today, you could see things like this, the broadcast. We were all here. We couldn't hear Greg. They've both left now, and things might not happen the way they're supposed to. I made a decision today to be here, to show up, and to try and give my best. That's all anyone can do. I didn't want to be honest with you, I haven't felt well, and I didn't want to really do this, but I did anyway. There's a lot of times where when we don't want to do things, we can make the most impact in someone else's life. So I don't know if it was babble for you today, or if you were able to get a bit of inspiration, but we do hope that you will join us each and every Friday at 10 a.m. right here on the Art of Encouragement. Go have a good day. Watch out for the black cats.